Folks, hello again. Golf seems like an odd sport to break out into civil war. After all, it's the gentleman's game, which is often rewarded on course with quiet applause from the gallery. But as we know, nothing corrupts like loads of money. And so war is what we have. The villains in this piece are the Saudi government and the Australian great Greg Norman, who have formed a breakaway competition called the LIV Golf Invitational Series, which rivals the PGA Tour. LIV is 54 in Roman numerals, which signifies 3 rounds of 18 holes. Players have been asked to switch tour allegiances with promises of huge wads of oil money. What's the problem, you ask? Well, the problem is the Saudi government is financially backing it, so essentially the player prize purse is blood money. Saudis ordered the killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi in 2018, routinely used torture, including flogging and amputation as punishment. It's one of the world's top executioners where free speech and same-sex relationships have no place. So it becomes a question of morals over whether the player is okay with accepting money that comes from those conditions, which, as it turns out, several of the game's top players are, and a whole lot of people aren't happy about that. Greg Norman is a former player turned businessman who's driving it. The Shark, as he's more commonly known, is not as revered as he once was. His stop-at-nothing approach to business has served his bank accounts very well, and good luck to him. But his critics are now piling up, more so after recently defending the Saudi government's Khashoggi murder as, quote, "We all make mistakes." Norman also stated that every country has its cross to bear, with many pointing to America's illegal invasion of Iraq, while noting players and sports weren't rubbed out then. Also, we take Saudi oil, so aren't the rest of us already aiding the Saudi regime? I digress, but the hypocrisy of sport is burning up here. Why should a golfer receive the public blowtorch for accepting huge amounts of money if it's on offer, and athletes in other sports don't? Sports washing is used to divert attention away from poor human rights and government corruption, and it's everywhere. Remember, it wasn't so long ago Beijing held the Winter Olympics. Didn't stop us from watching and celebrating athletic prowess. The Saudi government just bought out the Newcastle Football Club in the English Premier League. Its roster of players all earn multi-million-dollar packages, yet they're not facing the same kind of blowback. The same for players of European heavyweight Manchester City, which is owned by Abu Dhabi's Sheikh Mansour. On that note, what about the World Cup this year? Should fans and players boycott it because it's being held in Qatar? According to Human Rights Watch, abuse and exploitation of the country's large migrant workforce persists despite the introduction of labour reforms. The minimum wage in Qatar is $275 a month, and it's a crime for a migrant worker to leave an employer without permission. Women in Qatar also continue to face severe discrimination and violence due to abusive male guardianship policies. Women in Qatar must obtain permission from their male guardians to marry, study or travel abroad, or work in government jobs. Will people or players boycott the event? No chance. Finally, motorsports are deep in this too. In Formula One, it just held a race in Azerbaijan, which has heavy restrictions on free expression, not to mention the worst forms of child labour. There are also races in Bahrain, Abu Dhabi, and again in Saudi Arabia. Yet its drivers don't come in for the sort of heat that golfers are currently coming in for. Not standing up for the Saudi government or even Greg Norman, my defence comes for the players. If Dustin Johnson, Sergio Garcia or Phil Mickelson are offered plane loads of cash in perfectly legal tournaments and are okay with where that cash comes from, then that's their call. And they'll deal with whatever consequences come their way. But criticism has got to be across the board, not just one player or sport. Thanks for watching. To support this channel, please like, share and subscribe. See you next week.